You want the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth?
You can't handle the truth!
Well, we're giving you the Michigan Sports Truth, the show that reveals facts, truth, research, and statistics and never messes around. We lay down the entire truth about everything regarding your Detroit and Michigan sports teams, no matter if it's good or bad. No junk, no entertainment, no homerism, no coddling, no pop culture, no opinions, no shilling, and no fluff. Head over to our website at MichiganSportsTruth.com, follow us on Twitter at Michigan_Truth, and like our Facebook page, The Michigan Sports Truth. The hosts of the Michigan Sports Truth podcast do not take any suggestions or criticism from any member of its audience on how it should be run. It is up to the host to decide what they want to cover. They also do not intend to be any amount of popular in any way, shape, form, or fashion. Additionally, the views of the audience, right or wrong, do not reflect the actual truth revealed on this program.
And welcome to the Postgame edition of the Michigan Sports Truth podcast on Spreaker, SoundCloud, iHeartRadio, and Apple Podcasts and via iTunes for Tuesday, May 15th, 2018. The Tigers give up a grand slam to Brandon Guyer off Francisco Liriano, who finished four and a third innings pitched. And then the seventh inning, they drop a 5 spot off of bad relief pitching from Dan Otero and Andrew Miller to take a 9-8 lead. Shane Green gets another save, yet another save that he almost blew, just like last night. Last night he tried to blow a 4-run lead when it was 6-2. He allowed the potential tying run to reach the batter's box. He did. And now, with 2 out, he commits a throwing error, sending former Tigers outfielder Rajai Davis to second base as a potential tying run in scoring position, and he still gets the save. Shane Green is not a consistent closer. He's just not a consistent closer. I'm sorry, but he's just not. Yeah, but all those slaps only care about the Tigers winning no matter how. Right. I get it. Well, I don't care what the slaps think. I detect the truth the way it's displayed to them out there. Those are not my views. This is actually the truth. Shane Green has made saves out of most of his opportunities, but most of his saves he almost blew. Don't you even see that? We must care more. So don't let this 9-8 win fool you. This Tigers team is still a part of the American League Comedy Central division race. They're only 1 game back of the Tribe. And looking at the standings here, the Tigers must be in second place if the Indians are still in first. Yep, there they are. The Tigers jump ahead of the Twins only in winning percentage, 463 to 459. The Tigers are 19-22. The Twins are 17-20. The Indians in first place, but 20-21, a game below 500. That's the AL Comedy Central for you. Period. Pure comedy. Every team in that division is under 500. And that's got to suck. That's got to really suck. That division is a complete trash fire, trash dumpster fire. A trash explosion. A hot puke garbage explosion. A massacre. A hot puke manure garbage volcano eruption, if you know what I mean. It's been that way for the last 2 or 3 years now. And fans still don't care about that. They're going to reap what they sow. They're going to reap what they sow later this season. I swear to God. It's going to come down on them. And I hope it does. Because they need to learn a valuable but cold, hard lesson. Same two teams go at it again tomorrow at 1:10. It is a 3-game series before they head to Seattle and play the Mariners, who are 23-17. The Tigers played them last weekend, as far as I'm concerned. That was at home, yes. Both teams split that doubleheader on Saturday, and then the Tigers beat the Royals 5-4 in walk-off fashion. I remember the Tigers playing successful small ball off of an awful Mariners ninth-inning bullpen, off of a very awful relief pitcher in that ninth inning. Forgot what his name was. Nicasio, yes. That would be Juan Nicasio. Very high ERA. Now it's 6.16 as of right now. It was above 700 going into that ninth inning, or after that. Heimer Candelario, as I already mentioned, is on the DL, but he will not. But what I have not mentioned is he will not need surgery. Shane Green has now 9 saves. Another update for you. 9 saves out of 11 opportunities. But again, most of those 9 saves that he successfully picked up, he almost blew. And you saw it for yourself if you're still watching Tigers baseball on that trash abortion channel of a channel in FSD, Fox Sports Detroit, a group of unprofessional on-air talents that are high, especially Craig Monroe. He gets so overly excited after a Tigers win the upcoming season. The Indians tonight had the game almost in the bag. Tigers won last night 6-3, by the way. Craig Monroe is always crazy. Just like Tom Gores was when he was taking a picture with Blake Griffin and Andre Drummond after the Pistons got their first win with Blake Griffin on the court at Little Caesars Arena, the crappy pizza pile. And we'll get to the Pistons next. But
that one is long gone.
That's pretty much all Tigers. But Trevor Bauer and Carpenter Carpenter for the Tigers. 7.36 ERA. Carpenter's starting. Okay. Maybe this will be a turnaround for the Indians tomorrow afternoon. And let's keep that boycott FSD hashtag movement going. Let's keep ignoring Fox Sports Detroit. That way its ratings continue to drop. That said,
left sideline 3 and he answers.
The Pistons dropped to 42nd in the 2018 NBA Draft Lottery.
You are pathetic!
Luke Kennard put on the pedestal as the acting attendant for the Pistons. Just a reminder of Kyle Singler 5 years ago in 2013, just hoping for good luck, which gets old. And it just gets worse. The Pistons don't even nearly make it to the first round of the draft because they finish in 9th place of the Eastern Conference with a mediocre record simply by really tailing off the rest of the season a few games after the stupid Blake Griffin trade. Like I mentioned before, thank God Stan Van Gundy is completely fired from both of his positions. Was last week. Get thee gone, wastrel. So it doesn't matter who the Pistons pick or what position. It's not going to be good at all. I'm sorry, but I'm not going to care, neither should you. Shifting over to college basketball.
For 3, yes sir!
Michigan Wolverines men's basketball head coach John Beilein in talks about an extension through 2021. The Wolverines will rematch with the Villanova Wildcats in a national title rematch game on November 14th. Athletic director Warde Manuel says he wants Beilein and football head coach Jim Harbaugh to stay until they retire. And finally,
Touchdown, Michigan!
University police in Ann Arbor closed the investigation into threats against Michigan football head coach Jim Harbaugh from Elysse Mbem-Bosse, a defensive tackle, a former defensive tackle, who was cut like a year or two ago. The threats, the investigation of threats from Mbem-Bosse directed toward Harbaugh on Twitter was closed with no arrests and no charges filed whatsoever. Well, see, here's the reason for that. We can't even tell what threats they were. We don't even know if they were death threats or any kind of threats whatsoever. If they were deleted before they were even tried to be put out to the media, or unable to be put out to the media at all, or refused or whatnot whatsoever, then the chances are it could have been any kind of serious threat from Mbose to Harbaugh. See, I'm trying to figure this out. It could be any kind of threat, even a death threat. But Mbose did tweet out, "It's on tomorrow." And then he's received a message that he was hereby suspended indefinitely. Well, but he was already cut. Suspended indefinitely, I may add. So this is still a pretty serious story. It was a developing story, and now it's closed. So Elysse Mbem-Bosse is not going to be in any legal trouble. And I may have to talk about it with Ed Smith about it. He's going to take it really seriously. Tomorrow night on the midweek edition on episode 5, here on Spreaker, SoundCloud, iHeartRadio, and Apple Podcasts via iTunes. So that's all the news for tonight in the state of Michigan in terms of sports. So why don't I hand it over to Louis Tenore with his National Sports Report. Louis, take it away.
You got it. All right. Well, we have a lot of, it's been a very crazy night in the world of baseball. Some games have been postponed, some have been rain delays, and some have been suspended. Case in point, the Yankees and Nationals game was called in the bottom of the fifth inning, suspended, and the score ending at 3 apiece.
Why was it suspended?
Rain.
Oh, rain. Yeah, it's just delayed.
Well, actually, they said they have suspended, so the game will resume at 5:05 tomorrow.
Oh, okay. Yeah, sometimes that happens.
Yeah, you should see what we're doing here. Oh, boy. All right, so continuing on. In the bottom of the eighth, the Mets are having an easy time with the Blue Jays, now 9-2 in the bottom of the eighth, with the runner on first. And they're going with pitching change right now. So I'll have information on that later. Athletics lead the Red Sox 3-2 in the top of the eighth. Wright is pitching and Davis is batting. Okay, now Blue Jays, Mets. McGuire is pitching and Marcus is batting. Okay, there we go. Just came up. Going into the bottom of the sixth, the Brewers and the Diamondbacks are tied at 1. Chance is pitching and Owings is coming back. Going into the bottom of the fourth, the Angels lead the Astros 2-1. Upton, Pujols, and Simmons are all due up. Top of the fourth now, the Mariners lead the Rangers 5-3. 2 out, nobody on. Leak is pitching and Guzman is at bat. Bottom four, Reds lead the Giants 3-1. Runners on first and second, no one out. Hale is pitching and Jackson is at bat. We do have some finals here. Padres playing the Rockies 4-0. Lyles got the win, Marquez got the loss, and Hand got the save. Let's go, Hand. Pirates blanked the White Sox 7-0. Williams got the win, and Lopez got the loss. As we mentioned, Tigers against the Indians 9-8. Coleman got the win, Miller got the loss, and Green got the save. The Marlins doubled up on the Dodgers 4-2. Ray Griffin got the win. Wood got the loss, and Ziegler got the save. Cubs edged the Braves 3-2. Edwards Jr. got the win. Vizcaíno got the loss, and Morrow got the save. Twins over the Cardinals 4-1. Barrows got the win. Cecil got the loss, and Rodney got the save. The Rays just beat the Royals 6-5. Maturis got the win. Hernia got the loss, and Comer got the save. And the Phillies and the Orioles have been postponed. All right, so let's check the standings. This day has been a mess. And the standings read, okay, there we go, like this. So it looks like right now it's probably going to be tied in the American League East between the Yankees and the Red Sox. But right now the Yankees are at 20-12 and have a half-game lead over the Red Sox, 20-13, pending outcome of the game. Blue Jays 21-20, 7.5 back. Rays 10 back at 18-22, and the Orioles 13-28, 15.5 back. In the Comedy Central, and this is a lapper, Indians are 20-21, have a half-game lead over the Twins at 18-20. The Tigers are 18-22, 1 game back. Royals 13-29, 7.5 back, and the White Sox even worse, 10-28, 8.5 back. What a disaster. In the West, Dodgers, Angels, and Astros are in a virtual tie. Angels 25-16, Astros 26-17, but the Angels have the first place lead by percentage points, 610 to 605. Mariners are 23-17, only a game and a half back. Athletics, 5 back at 20 and 21, and the Rangers are 16-26 at 9.5 back. Over the National League, the Braves are 25-16, have a 1-game lead over the Phillies at 23-16, but that game was rained out. Nationals, 24-18, a game and a half back, also postponed because of rain. Mets, 19-18, 4 back, and the Marlins 15-26 at 10 back. In the Central, which is the hottest division, I think, in baseball right now, the Brewers are 25-17, have a half-game lead on the Pirates at 24-17. The Cardinals and Cubs are just a game and a half back at 22-17, and then you got the Reds at 14-28 at 11 back. I think they have some ground. Spend the Royals. In the West, the D-backs are 24-17, have a 2-game lead over the Rockies at 23-20. Giants 21-21, 3.5 back. Dodgers 16-25, 8 back. Hangover. And the Padres 17-27, 8.5 back. Yeah, they have a hangover loss in the World Series. All right, so let's check the schedule. So usually Wednesday there's a lot of day games in place, and I know we're going to find a few. So let's begin. All right, for your May 16th, the schedule goes like this. It goes like this. All right, the White Sox will take on the Pirates at 12:35. The Phillies will take on the Orioles at 12:35 as well tomorrow. 1:10 games. Indians versus Tigers. The Cardinals take on the Twins, and the Blue Jays take on the Mets. 2:15. Rays take on the Royals. 3:40. Rangers take on the Mariners. Also 3:40. The Brewers take on the D-backs. 3:45, the Reds take on the Giants. 7 o'clock, we have the Yankees taking on the Nationals. 7:10 games, A's take on the Red Sox. Dodgers take on the Marlins. 7:35, the Cubs take on the Braves. And at 9:40, the Astros take on the Angels. All right. So taking care of that now, let's go over to the ice. And well, we're not gonna have a sweep, folks. The Lightning go up in the Capitals 4-2, and that is now a final. But the Capitals still have a 2-1 lead in the series. Next game, I believe, is on Thursday. Tomorrow's game, of course, will be in the Western Conference, as the Jets will take on the Golden Knights in game 4, and that game is at 9 o'clock. All right, so now we'll go over to the NBA. And it's a 2-0 lead now with the Celtics over the Cavaliers. Who would have thought that? As the Celtics beat the Cavaliers 103 to 94. 107-94, excuse me. LeBron James had a triple-double, though. 42 points, 12 assists and 10 rebounds. Jaylen Brown had 23 points, 7 rebounds, and 3 assists. So now they're up 2-0. Cleveland looks like they're burning out of it. Go figure. Tomorrow night, the Warriors will take on the Rockets in Game 2 of their series. Of course, the Warriors lead 1-0. Oh, well. All right, so now we'll go on to the news items of the day. And we begin like this. As I mentioned, the Capitals and Lightning played tonight, but Washington Capitals center Nicholas Backstrom missed his 4th straight game with a right hand injury.
Backstrom.
No, blocked the shot in Game 5 of the semi-conference series against the Bruins from Justin Schultz. Since that time, Ekstrom has worn a brace on the injured hand, and there's no telling when he'll be back. But they're doing okay without him. All right, here's a surprise story of the day. The wife of former PGA golf champion Lucas Glover was arrested on domestic violence charges stemming from an altercation between Glover and his mother. Oh boy! After he missed the cut at the Players' Championship this weekend, his wife Krista was arrested Saturday night and taken to the St. Johns County Jail and released the next day after posting a $2,500 bond. She faces a court date on May 31st on misdemeanor domestic battery charges and resisting arrest without violence. According to the offense report, Glover and his wife were having an altercation after the third round concluded. His third round, that is. And he shot a 78. The report said that his mother, Hershey Glover, tried to intervene when Krista began to attack her. The arresting officer noticed cuts and blood on the arms of clothing on Glover's mother. Mrs. Glover also told the deputy sheriff that she was hit in the chest. Man, that's nasty. Red Sox reliever Carson Smith suffered a major right shoulder injury as he threw his glove into the dugout last night. President of Baseball Operations Dave Dombrowski told reporters today Smith was placed on the 10-day disabled list, but there was no timetable set for his return. Smith said he was also seeking a second opinion on his shoulder, seeing it's actually worse than what everybody thinks. You notice how some people usually start to slow down, especially athletes when they get to like 35 or 40. Well, there's always one in every crowd that doesn't seem to know when to hang them up. Case in point, Jaromir Jagr. That's right, the Jaromir Jagr will play his 30th year in pro hockey with the Czech Republic team, which is called the Knights. It's no relation to the Vegas Golden Knights. Intends to grow an active player in 2018-19 season, and is also the co-owner of the Czech Republican Knights. And he is 46 years old, ladies and gentlemen, 2 years younger than me. Go figure. All right. News concerning the Seattle Mariners. All-star second baseman Robinson Cano has been suspended 80 games for testing positive for a banned substance. The suspension was announced today and has already begun serving his suspension. This is a violation of the MLB's Drug Prevention and Treatment Program. A source familiar with the case told ESPN's Quinn that Cano tested positive before the season began and appealed. The appeal MLB apparently was able to determine his intent, resulting that Cano drop his appeal. That according to the source. Cano was given the substance by a licensed doctor in his native of the Dominican Republic, and the substance is used to treat various medical conditions in his country and here in the U.S. as well. While Cano said he did not realize at the time that he was given the medication that was banned, and he only wishes now that he was more careful. Now, just go to show you what you don't know can hurt you. And in this case, it did. All right. Celtics guard Marcus Smith's mother is in the hospital receiving chemotherapy. Yesterday, and she continues her fight against bone marrow cancer. But she wants Marcus to remain focused on his playoff run with the Celtics. The Celtics are 7-2 since Smart returned from his thumb injury. Late in Boston's first-round series against the Bucks. On Sunday, Smith's mother was surrounded by family as she watched the Celtics' victory over the Cavaliers in the Eastern Conference Finals. Now that's a happy Mother's Day. Smart said, "It's tough. I'm not going to lie," he said today, "but I'm a pro, and we have a job to do. And that's something about my mom that she's really big on. I'll be all right," she said, "so go out there and do what you have to do. I'll be okay." Smith said that gives her some comfort, saying that to go out there and not feel guilty of being here instead of being there with her at the hospital. Well, I think that, this, because, it's important, and because I've been through the same thing myself. You got some job to do? Go do it. Make us proud. Okay. Steelers minority owner David Teppier is expected, or probably has done already, sign a deal today to buy the Carolina Panthers, and will be able to keep the Panthers in North Carolina. Sources told ESPN. A source told ESPN that the Panthers will be sold for, get this folks, $2.2 billion. That's billion with a B. That's a record, the highest sale price for an NFL team, surpassing the previous record of $1.4 billion. That by the Buffalo Bills, who were sold back in 2014. The Houston Rockets were also sold for $2.2 billion just last year. The Charlotte Observer first reported the Panthers' sale price. The deal is expected to be approved at the owners' meeting in Atlanta next week. The purchase would need approval, though, from the NFL Financial Committee and 3/4 approval of the league's 32 owners. Teppier is a founder of the global Aspalooza Management with a net worth of $11 billion. Wow. That's according to Forbes magazine. And is committed to keeping the team in Charlotte. Now, under the league rules, and there are league rules here, that Teppier must be able to put up 30% of the selling price. He is a minority owner of the Steelers. The league's betting process, he currently owns 5% of what he would have to sell the interest before completing the Panthers' purchase. I think he can afford it. Stephen Curry said the Rockets' plan for him will consider a lot of back and forth, saying he hoped the Rockets would attack him in isolation on every defensive possession. The Rockets accepted Curry's invite, often during Game 1. And, hang on a second here. All right, that's nothing. All right, there we go. Well, during Game 1, Harden did most of the damage in the game. Game 1, despite the Warriors' win. Last night, if that is the game plan they want to stick with, then my job is to make it as tough as possible, Curry said, who scored 18 points. You have two great scorers over here, there in Chris Paul and LeBron James. You know how they get off shots in isolated type-like situations, and they're tough to stop. So I'm going to get scored on, but as long as I'm in the right spot at the right time, and defend, and just try to make it tough as possible, I can be all right with that, and just have that competitive winning edge that we need. You can say that again. All right. Warriors are, of course, now feeling more confident after Kevin Durant put up 37 points last night in a win over the Rockets. He said he was ready for it last night. That's set by Stephen Curry. However, Durant's explosion was not the main concern of the Rockets. Coach Mike D'Antoni said after the loss last night, "We cannot withstand turning the ball over, missing layups," meaning the Warriors, getting out Klay Thompson, making 15 three-point shots. We cannot allow them to make 15 three-point shots. We are switching everything and staying off for that reason. So we have to clean up some stuff and see if we can do that for Game 3, which takes place tomorrow. The Warriors will test D'Antoni's theory to see if Durant's heroics can be withstood. If the Rockets do clean up the other aspects of their games, even though the Warriors would rather play a ball movement brand of basketball. The plan for Game 2 is to continually feed Kevin Durant. Ain't that the truth? All right, continuing on. After yesterday's landmark decision, the NFL wants Congress to pass a betting legislation. The league's long-standing, as well as underwaving commitment to protecting the integrity of the game remains intact, a league spokesperson said in a statement yesterday. After the Supreme Court ruled the PASP Act of 1992 was ruled unconstitutional, Congress long recognized the potential harm posed by sports betting to the integrity of sporting contests. Continuing on here. Sporting contests and the public confidence in these events. Given the history, we, meaning the league, intend to call Congress again, this time to enact a regular core framework for legalized sports betting. The league will also work closely with their clubs to ensure that any state efforts that move forward in the meantime protect our fans as well as the integrity of the game. The Supreme Court struck down the ruling yesterday afternoon. So I guess now anybody's got to place their bets. Oh boy. That doesn't really help me. I don't know if we covered this or not before we went off the air yesterday, but I'll say it again just in case. This involves Yankee news. Yankees returned Brandon Drury, who was out with blurred vision from his rehab assignment and has been reinstated from the 10-day disabled list, opting into AAA Scranton. Yankees also transferred the rehab assignments of Greg Bird with ankle surgery and Billy McKay with a shoulder injury, and both will play at AA Trenton. I've been to that stadium. It's very nice. All right. Also last night, Angels reliever Kenyon Middleton had MRI on his right elbow and was diagnosed with ligament damage. The team announced yesterday. Middleton said he will seek a second opinion. The team said he had been placed on the 10-day DL. Right-hander Felix Pena from AAA Salt Lake was recalled. Middleton was removed in the 8th inning of the game against the Twins due to elbow discomfort. All right. So now we'll just check on the baseball scores. Any progress here? As we have still quite a few games of progress from rain delays tonight. Oh, right now this is a real laugher here. The Mets are being up on the Blue Jays now 12-2. It's now a final. Snyder got the win. Garcia, got the loss. Definitely. Athletics now lead the Red Sox 5-2. LaCroix, Seaman, and Pinder are due up. So it looks like the Yankees are going to hold on to that lead in the AL East. Wonderful.
Mm-hmm.
Top of the 8th, unless the Boston makes a major comeback, but I don't think so.
Yankees are on fire.
Top of the 8th, Brewers and D-backs are tied at 1 with 1 out, nobody on. Bradley is pitching and Kane is at bat. Bottom 5, Angels lead the Astros 2-1. Cole is pitching and Kinsner is at bat. Top 5, it's now Mariners 6-3 over the Rangers. But now we're going to go into the bottom of the 5th because now been 3 outs. Okay. Leak was pitching and DeShields was batting. And top 5, Giants lead the Reds 4-3. 2 out, nobody on. Johnson is playing Suarez. Is that bad? Yeah, he's doing pretty good. Okay, one note here I wanted to mention here. UV Darvish said he felt some cramping in his right calf tonight, so the Cubs decided to pull him after 4 innings of play. Darvish believes he is tied to being sick and was unable to keep up with his conditioning over the past 10 days. He gave up 1 run on a career-low 61 pitches. The last 10 days, you should have done about that sooner, pal. What a dope. Oh, I felt sick the last 10 days. Well, you should have took care of it then, you big dope.
Yeah.
Oh, boy. On that note, I'll turn it back over to you. And I have not been sick the last 10 days. Thank you very much.
Yep, absolutely. Thank goodness for that.
Yes.
So Jeff Moss tweeted about the Tigers, "Don't fall for that. They stink. Water will find its level soon enough." He quoted Clint Novak's tweet at CMU Pens fan, "Or how the hell the Tigers are 1 game back at first with a crew of guys no one knows." Well, at least I know Michael Brantley, Brandon Geyer, Francisco Lindor, for example, Trevor Bauer. Those are still a few of the guys that are still on this Indians team and those players are still great, in my opinion, or at least good. Or at least good, clearly. And the Tigers are beating them. There must be some other players on the Indians team that are unknown and are not nearly as good. That's how they're bringing this Indians team down, completing the AL Comedy Central Division. Now, on that note, that is the post-game edition for May 15th, 2018 on a Tuesday night. And you can listen to us on Spreaker, SoundCloud, iHeartRadio, and Apple Podcasts via iTunes. Follow me on Twitter at DT2Phillips. For Louis Tenore, I'm Taylor Phillips. Follow the Michigan Sports Truth on Twitter at Michigan_Truth and like its Facebook page, the Michigan Sports Truth. They can be shared on Google+, LinkedIn, Tumblr, Pinterest, and even MySpace. Till tomorrow night, TTFN, ta-ta for now.
Good night.
The hosts of the Michigan Sports Truth podcast do not take any suggestions or criticism from any member of its audience on how it should be run. It is up to the host to decide what they want to cover. They also do not intend to be any amount of popular in any way, shape, form, or fashion. Additionally, the views of the audience, right or wrong, do not reflect the actual truth revealed on this program.